Welcome back to AI Explained. Today, we're going to be diving deep into something that really caught my eye.
Yeah.
It's OpenAI's experimental 1-800 ChatGPT service. Now, we've all used ChatGPT
Right.
through the app or website,
Yeah.
but this
Yeah.
is different.
It is. It's intriguing, isn't
Has
it?
to.
Imagine being able to access ChatGPT just by dialing a number,
Yeah, exactly.
calling a friend.
It feels like a throwback
Yeah.
to the days of dial-up.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
except instead of connecting to the internet, we're connecting to an AI.
Yeah.
And get this, you don't even need an account.
Exactly. OpenAI is trying to make AI accessible to everyone,
Yeah.
regardless of their tech savviness or whether they have an existing account.
So someone who's never even heard of ChatGPT could just pick up their phone
Right.
and start chatting with an AI.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
When you think about it,
That's pretty wild when you think about it.
it does make you wonder about the potential impact, especially for reaching those who haven't had the chance to explore AI in other ways.
Okay, so I'm picturing my grandma, who can barely use email, suddenly having a conversation with ChatGPT about her favorite recipes.
Wow.
What are the practicalities here?
Right.
Like, how much can you actually use this service?
There are some limitations in place. You get 15 minutes of free talk time per month for calls, and there's a daily cap on the number of WhatsApp messages you can send. Think of it as a taste test
Okay.
of what AI can do.
15 minutes, like those old long-distance calling cards,
Yes.
where you had to carefully ration your minutes.
Right.
I could just imagine hitting that limit mid-conversation
Uh-huh.
and having to say, sorry, ChatGPT, gotta go, I'm out of minutes.
A modern-day AI dilemma. But seriously, it is an experimental service. So these limitations could change as OpenAI gathers more data on usage patterns.
All right, so no marathon therapy sessions with ChatGPT just yet.
Right.
But I'm curious, what about those times when you're in a noisy environment? Would that mess with ChatGPT's ability to understand what you're saying?
That's a good point. Background noise can be an issue during calls, just like with any phone conversation.
Right.
OpenAI recommends using headphones or your phone's noise isolation features for a smoother experience.
Okay, that makes sense. But let's say I'm on WhatsApp and I want to show ChatGPT a funny meme or picture, like I would with a friend. Can I do that?
Unfortunately, no. 1-800-CHAT-GPT is currently text-only. You can't send images, use voice notes, or personalized instructions like you can in the app. And one other thing to keep in mind is its knowledge cutoff.
Knowledge cutoff, you mean it's not connected to the internet in real time?
That's right. Its knowledge base is only up to October 2023. So if you need information or insights from after that date, you'll need to use the app or website.
This is like having a slightly outdated version of ChatGPT in your pocket.
Yeah.
Still pretty cool,
Yes.
but good to know those limitations.
Yeah.
Speaking of pockets, isn't WhatsApp tied to a phone number?
It is. And that brings up another important point. Make sure you're actually interacting with the official 1-800-CHAT-GPT service on WhatsApp.
Right.
Double check the phone number and look for the verified badge to avoid any scams or impersonators.
That's good advice. You don't want to be spilling your heart out to some random bot
Right.
pretending to be ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Now, one thing that always comes to mind with AI is data privacy.
Sure.
What's the deal here? Are our calls and messages being recorded?
OpenAI does store calls and messages for a limited time, primarily for safety and abuse prevention.
So they're making sure no one's using this service for anything shady. Makes sense.
Right.
But it does raise broader questions about data security and how AI companies are handling our information.
Absolutely. It's an ongoing conversation and one that we need to be having as AI becomes more integrated into our lives.
All right, so we've covered the basics. 1-800-CHAT-GPT is a super easy way to access AI, even without an account. You can call or use WhatsApp, but keep in mind the time limits,
Yeah.
background noise, and data privacy aspects.
And don't forget to double check that you're interacting with the official ChatGPT service, especially on WhatsApp.
Right. Now, I'm thinking about the bigger picture here. This whole phone number thing feels like a huge step
Absolutely.
towards making AI incredibly accessible.
It certainly is. But that accessibility raises some interesting questions.
Yeah.
For example, how do we ensure responsible use of AI when it's readily available to populations who might not be fully aware of its limitations or potential biases?
Ooh, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Like, if someone is used to getting all their information from traditional sources, How do they know what to trust
Right.
when they start interacting with an AI?
Exactly. It's not just about providing access, it's about providing education and context as well. And that makes me think about the potential impact on different demographics.
Yeah, like, could this be a game changer for people who don't have reliable internet access or who struggle with traditional computer interfaces?
Potentially. Imagine being able to access information, get help with tasks, or even just have a conversation, all through a simple phone call. That could be incredibly empowering for certain communities.
This is where it gets really interesting. Suddenly, we're not just talking about a cool new feature.
Right.
We're talking about a potential shift in how people interact with technology and information.
Precisely. And that shift raises even more questions about digital literacy, ethical considerations, and the role of AI in bridging the digital divide.
Okay, we've only just scratched the surface here.
Yeah.
I'm already thinking about the implications for education, healthcare, social interaction.
It's a fascinating area to explore, and I think the fact that we're having these conversations now as this technology is emerging is incredibly important.
It is. We need to be thinking about these things proactively, not reactively.
Absolutely, because ultimately AI's impact on society is going to be shaped by the choices we make today.
Well, this gives me a lot to think about, and I bet our listeners are feeling the same way.
I'm sure they are. This 1-800-ChatGPT service is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to the evolving landscape of AI accessibility and its impact on our world.
Okay, folks, we're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we'll dive even deeper into these implications. Don't go anywhere.
You know, it's fascinating to think about how 1-800-ChatGPT fits into the broader landscape of voice assistants. We already have Siri, Alexa,
Right.
Google Assistant.
And people use them for everything, from setting alarms
Yeah.
to controlling their smart homes.
Mhm.
So how is this different?
Yeah.
What makes ChatGPT stand out?
It all comes down to the underlying technology. ChatGPT is built on a large language model, which allows it to understand and generate human-like text
Okay.
in a way that traditional voice assistants can't.
So it's not just about following commands or answering simple questions.
Yeah.
It's about having a more natural, nuanced conversation.
Exactly. Imagine asking your voice assistant for help writing a poem, composing an email, or even brainstorming ideas for a project.
Right.
That's the kind of thing ChatGPT excels at.
Okay, I see the difference. It's like comparing a basic calculator to a powerful computer. Both can do math, but one has a much wider range of capabilities.
A great analogy. And that brings up another interesting point. The potential for voice-based ChatGPT to be a real game changer in terms of accessibility for people with disabilities.
You're right. I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah.
For someone with visual impairments or mobility issues, using a traditional computer
Right.
can be challenging.
Exactly. But with voice-based ChatGPT, they could access the same information and functionality as anyone else simply by talking. It could open up a whole new world of possibilities.
It's like breaking down a major barrier.
Yeah,
And it makes me wonder, what other barriers could AI help us overcome?
that's a great question.